Hello everyone, let's do another booze video. I've got here today, all the way from Waitrose, Heston Toffee Apple Mulled Cider. I don't know if mulled cider means I should be drinking it warm, but it's been in the fridge, it's totally cold. I've had other toffee apple ciders, I think Brothers Toffee Apple, was that a toffee apple one? It was delicious. And this is made by Heston Blumenthal, celebrity chef Heston Blumenthal for Waitrose. It says no need to mull it over. Apple and dark caramel is a classic combination, providing a cider with a refreshing depth of flavour. And the label's a bit boring. The thing with Heston Blumenthal is it's all about the whole experience, isn't it? The sight, the smell, the texture, the feel, not just the taste of the food. It's all about the whole situation, and given that, the label looks a bit boring. Kind of in an interesting wine bottle type of thing. 5.5%. I don't know if Heston Blumenthal, because I know some people watch these videos from other places outside the UK, and I don't know if Heston Blumenthal's a thing in other countries. I know like Gordon Ramsay is a British celebrity chef that's quite famous in other countries. I don't know why. I think Gordon Ramsay is an obnoxious twat. I just think there's no need to be as rude as he is to people in any situation, unless they've just killed your dog or something. I just don't understand why he has to be such an arsehole all the time. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm getting off. Heston Blumenthal's another celebrity chef, if people didn't know. But his thing is like, he's a scientist sort of thing. He does scientific experiments with food, and he makes weird things like, he kind of turns food conventions on their head. So he'll have like savoury ice creams, and I think he made like an ice cream dessert, but it was actually a full English fried breakfast. So it was like scrambled egg ice cream with caramelized wafers, which are actually bits of bacon, and I can't remember what else. It was weird. He does a lot of things like that anyway. So toffee apple mulled cider. I don't know whether this is going to be I imagine Heston Blumenthal must have had some kind of input on the recipe, but then it must have been taken by Waitrose to be made mass produced for the supermarket. So how much of this flavour is what Heston Blumenthal will have envisioned, or whether they just came up with a mulled apple cider and Heston Blumenthal just ticked a box to say that he was going to have his name on the thing. I don't know. Oh, ugh. I can tell instantly from that smell. It's just, oh, it smells like syrup. Like, it smells like maple syrup. Something. I can tell this is going to be sweet as shit. I'm going to pour it into a wine glass because the bottle's wine shaped. Let's have a go. I'll give it a go. It might have a bit more of a cider flavour, but that first smell, it smelled like a really sweet alcohol pop or something. Not what I expected. It's got a little bit of a cider smell to it, like an oaky cider smell, but overridingly, it smells like you can smell the sugar rising up out of it somehow. It's so sweet smelling. It doesn't taste as sweet as it smells. It tastes a little bit watery, like they've made the cider and then they've watered it down a bit. Like, there is a taste of a nice cider in there, but it tastes thin, you know what I mean? Like I said, that oaky smell, you can taste that in there, like the taste of almost like it would be a nice cider, but it tastes a bit thin and a bit nothingy at the same time. Maybe I should have warmed it up, I don't know. Mulled cider, you're supposed to warm mulled cider. A lively, complex and irresistibly drinkable finish. I can't say it's that complex or lively. It's a bit thin and a bit flat, really. Sweet, but it tastes cheap because of how sweet it is. Definitely not as good as Brothers Toffee apple ciders. It's got some like interesting flavours in there, like a bit of honey taste. It reminds me a bit of mead. Like it does taste like half of a good cider almost. Like if it didn't have that sweet, sickly sweet, slightly cheap taste, but the other flavours in there would be quite nice. If they was twice as strong, the flavours were twice as strong. It tastes like I say, they've got half a bottle of good cider and poured water in for the other half. It tastes, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not appreciating the subtle flavours here, but can't say this is something I can recommend at all. Definitely not. I was gonna chug the bottle, but I can't be arsed. It's not good enough to. Yeah, I don't know what's gone on there. I don't know how, like I say, how much input Heston Blumenthal's had on this, but this isn't something. And Heston Blumenthal is someone who's really interested me. Like I always think, oh, I'd really like to try some of his food. I bet it tastes amazing. Like I bet it looks weird, but I bet it tastes really incredible. So this is my first experience of anything with Heston Blumenthal's name on it, and it's just nothing really. Yeah, the label pretty much says it all. Look at that bland label, nothing there. It looks like they haven't really bothered with it as well. It's not even like the talking from someone with an art degree here. This isn't even very well what's it called? Proportions, or what's the word called? The things are laid out nicely. You do things in thirds, and you have your eyes are drawn to certain places, and very important in creating a label. And they haven't bothered, have they? They just plonked a bit of text there, or slice of apple here, whatever this is. Nothing, and then this new thing that's completely out of place. Load of shit. This is Waitrose. It's one of them upper class places, Waitrose, as well. It makes itself out to be like an upper class, high quality supermarket. Everything's twice the price of anywhere else, but I can't believe they've sold me this tripe. Pour another glass out. There's a nice taste there. It's just it's on the aftertaste. It tastes like something that would have potential to be nice. I feel like they need to mellow out some flavours, like the sweetness needs to be mellowed. The aftertaste is like a mellow, sweet, caramelly taste, and it's nice. If that flavour was throughout and it wasn't initially so sharp and overly sweet and cheap, like the sweetness tastes cheap when you're drinking it, and then they brought out the other flavours which are too mellow, like the apple cider taste and things that are in there. There's like almost a almost like a mead sort of citrusy taste as well, like honey and lemon or something. That is in there, but that's a bit too subtle. I don't know. It's just not gelling with me, this drink. I don't know. At Heston Blumenthal, the last few TV shows I've seen of his. He's kind of gone off the deep end, I think. I think he started out with good ideas, but the last few I watched, he was just making giant versions of things. He wasn't even making like I remember one TV show where he took a traditional English dish and he'd try and make the absolute perfect version of it using all these weird scientific methods, and he'd do all these experiments like trying to make the one perfect chip by doing all these experiments, and it was interesting. The last one I watched, I don't know if it was the most recent, but it was just him just taking a dish and making a big giant version. It's who cares? Like it's it's nothing impressive. It's just a big version of something you'd cook anyway. It's not an interesting experiment. I'm trying to knock this back because it's it's not enjoyable to me. Anyone else have a go? I'm guessing a lot of people do, because people seem to talk a lot about the other toffee apple cider, the what do you call it, the Brothers one. I imagine other people would also try this, thinking it'd be like the same, but definitely not. Anyway, that's yeah. 6 minutes left on the camera memory, so I don't know what else I'm going to fill this time with. I might just drink this glass. I've got half a bottle left, and honestly, I'm not going to drink it. I used to make a point of these videos where I'd try and chug the whole bottle no matter what it was, even if it was like 3 litres of cider or something, but not anymore. Too old for that crap and too worried about my health these days to do things like that, especially if I'm not really enjoying the drink that much. So yeah. Yeah, that's it. Not else to talk about really. Yeah. Been rewatching a lot of Absolutely Fabulous because they're bringing out the film of it soon. Bring out a film soon, and yeah, I'm just obsessed with 90s comedy at the moment. I think they just give me like this real like heartwarming feeling, even the really crap ones. Like I don't know if you can consider this to be a crap comedy. I don't, but Chris Barry, the British Empire and things like that. Did you know the last episode? I don't know if it's the last episode ever, but the one episode I recorded, I watched it the other night. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was like they'd made a creepypasta. Like, you know how creepypasta, there's one about the Simpsons, how there's a secret episode of the Simpsons that got aired once and never aired again, and all these people got killed in it and stuff. It was like an episode of that, of the British Empire, which is a sitcom, a light-hearted sitcom about a leisure centre. The last episode, a load of people, there's like a big massive gang shootout in the thing, and the whole leisure centre is just covered in dead bodies. And then it ends up with Mr. British accidentally chainsawing someone's head off, because he chainsaws through a door and cuts off someone's head who's leaning against the other side. I couldn't believe it. I watched this, and the whole thing's about him being in jail and in court for this mass killing and beheading that's gone on at the British Empire, or whatever it's called, the leisure centre anyway. Cause that's actual real thing. It was like, I couldn't believe it. I thought it was like, you could write that as a creepypasta and say, did you know there was a secret episode of the British Empire? Also watching a sitcom called Watching, which is only one that I vaguely remember. I remember my parents watching it when I was a kid, and so I started watching it again, and I'm actually quite enjoying it. I binge watched about 7 episodes in a row yesterday. It's about the most obnoxious Scouse woman I've ever seen in my life, and somehow this dippy bloke, this absolute weed of a bloke, follows her around and does whatever she says. It's the premise of the show. It's quite interesting, but yeah. Oh god, it's horrible, this cider actually. Yeah, the more I drink it, ugh. No, I'm not finishing that. It's not recommended. So I'm sure there's something that I was going to say on this video I've forgotten. It doesn't really matter. Nothing I say is important anyway, is it? So thanks for watching as usual, and I'll probably see you next week for another video. Goodbye.